Imagine living your life bound by invisible chains, chains that you can't see, touch, or consciously acknowledge, yet they dictate your every move, limit your potential, and define the very boundaries of your reality. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. It's the profound insight Owen Hermstring brings to light when he speaks of unconscious agreements. These aren't the contracts we sign or the promises we make aloud. They are silent, deeply ingrained beliefs, fears, and learned behaviors that operate far beneath the surface of our awareness. They are the hidden scripts we've adopted, often without ever realizing it, that subtly dictate what we believe is possible for us, what we deserve, and what actions we're capable of taking. Think of it like a set of deeply programmed rules running in the background of your operating system. These rules aren't bad in themselves. Many were formed out of a need for survival or belonging early in life. Perhaps you implicitly agreed, based on observations from your childhood, that success requires backbreaking effort and sacrifice, or it's safer to stay small and not draw attention, or even love always comes with a price. And these agreements become the filter through which you perceive the world, shaping your decisions, your reactions, and even the opportunities you see or fail to see around you. Hermstring might argue that these unconscious agreements are far more powerful than our conscious desires, because they are operating on an automatic, reflexive level, often overriding our best intentions. You might consciously strive for financial abundance, but if an unconscious agreement dictates that money is the root of all evil, or wealthy people are corrupt, your actions, energy, and even your subconscious efforts will subtly push against that very abundance. The insidious nature of these invisible chains lies in their unconsciousness. Because they are not consciously chosen, we rarely question them. They feel like innate truths, like simply the way things are. No. When we encounter a challenge or a perceived limitation, our minds don't typically ask, is this limitation real, or is it based on an unconscious agreement I've made? Instead, we accept it as an inherent part of our reality. This acceptance then reinforces the agreement, strengthening its hold. For example, if you unconsciously agree that I'm not good at public speaking, every time you avoid an opportunity to speak or stumble through a presentation, it serves as proof to your unconscious mind that this agreement is valid, further solidifying the invisible chain. Hermstring's core revelation is that our reality is, to a significant degree, an outward manifestation of these internal, unspoken pacts. We create our experiences not just from what we consciously want, but from what we unconsciously expect and believe about ourselves and the world. Breaking free from these agreements isn't about fighting them or forcing a new reality. It's about first unmasking them. It's about bringing these invisible chains into the light of conscious awareness, understanding where they came from, and recognizing their true nature as constructs, not immutable laws. Only then can we begin the deliberate, often challenging, but profoundly liberating work of renegotiating these internal contracts and stepping into a reality truly aligned with our highest aspirations. If our unconscious agreements are the invisible chains, then our earliest experiences are the blacksmiths that forge them. This section delves into how childhood programming, family dynamics, and societal norms contribute profoundly to the formation of these limiting pacts, laying down the fundamental blueprints for our adult reality. Owen Hermstring eloquently suggests that the seemingly innocuous messages we absorb during our formative years become deeply embedded truths, creating a framework, often restrictive, that dictates our perceptions, behaviors, and ultimately, our potential. Consider the absorbent nature of a child's mind. Before critical thinking skills are fully developed, children act like sponges, soaking up every interaction, every unspoken rule, every emotional tone within their environment. If a child repeatedly hears, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or witnesses constant financial struggle and anxiety from their parents, an unconscious agreement might form that wealth is scarce and hard to attain. This isn't a conscious decision. It's an observed reality that becomes an internalized belief system. Similarly, if a child is consistently told children should be seen and not heard, or is punished for expressing strong emotions, they might form an unconscious agreement that my voice doesn't matter, or it's not safe to express my true feelings. These deeply imprinted messages become the default settings for navigating the world, influencing everything from career choices to relationship patterns in adulthood. Family dynamics play a particularly potent role. The roles we assume within our families, the unspoken rules about conflict, affection, success, and failure, all contribute to these agreements. A child who constantly had to be the peacemaker might unconsciously agree to prioritize others' needs over their own, leading to chronic people-pleasing and a struggle with boundaries as an adult. One who learned to be hyper-independent due to a lack of support might form an agreement that I can only rely on myself, making it difficult to trust others or accept help. These patterns, though no longer serving a protective function, persist because the body and mind have been wired to maintain them. Hermstring would emphasize that these aren't conscious choices, but rather deeply ingrained responses, like well-worn pathways in the brain that we automatically follow. Furthermore, broader societal norms and cultural narratives also contribute to these unconscious agreements. Messages about gender roles, beauty standards, success metrics, or what constitutes normal behavior are constantly being broadcast. For example, a pervasive societal agreement that you must work tirelessly to be worthy can lead individuals to burn out, constantly seeking external validation rather than internal fulfillment. These collective agreements shape our understanding of identity and belonging, and deviation can trigger a profound fear of rejection or isolation, further cementing the unconscious pact. The profound impact of this early programming lies in its power to perpetuate cycles. An adult struggling with self-worth might unknowingly be operating under an unconscious agreement formed in childhood that they are not good enough. Whoa. This agreement can then lead to self-sabotaging behaviors, missed opportunities, or a constant search for external validation, all of which inadvertently reinforce the original agreement. Unearthing these echoes of the past is crucial because it allows us to distinguish between who we are now and the limiting beliefs we absorbed then. It's the essential step in recognizing that our current reality is often a reflection of these old, unexamined scripts, rather than an inherent truth about our capabilities or worth. Our minds might be where our conscious thoughts reside, but Owen Hermstring's work powerfully reveals that our bodies are often the silent archives of our deepest, most unconscious agreements. This isn't just a metaphor, it's a profound connection where deeply held limiting beliefs and unexamined pacts manifest physiologically, leading to chronic tension, persistent anxiety, unexplained fatigue, or even specific recurring health issues. Our bodies, in essence, carry the weight of our unspoken vows, broadcasting stress or constriction that reinforces our perceived boundaries. Consider the intricate connection between our emotional state and our physical experience. When we are consciously stressed or fearful, our bodies react, muscles tense, breathing becomes shallow, our heart rate increases. This is a well-understood stress response. However, when an unconscious agreement dictates our reality, for instance, a belief that I must always be in control or I am not safe unless I am vigilant, our bodies can adopt a perpetual state of readiness, even when there's no immediate threat. This translates into chronic physical tension. Someone with an unconscious agreement to always be strong might carry immense tension in their shoulders and neck, literally bearing the weight of this self-imposed demand. A person who unconsciously agrees that it's not safe to relax might experience persistent jaw-clenching or restless sleep, their body unable to fully let go and recuperate. Hermstring would likely highlight that these physical manifestations are not random. They are often direct reflections of the energetic patterns created by our limiting beliefs. If you unconsciously believe that "I don't deserve good things," your body might subtly resist ease and relaxation, instead maintaining a posture of defensiveness or perpetual struggle. This can lead to persistent fatigue, as the body is always on guard, or digestive issues, as the nervous system, constantly signaling a perceived threat, diverts energy away from optimal digestion. It's a form of physiological self-sabotage, where the body, in its attempt to uphold the unconscious agreement, creates discomfort or dis-ease. Furthermore, these bodily responses can become a feedback loop. When our bodies are in a constant state of tension or low-level alert, they send signals back to the brain that reinforce the original limiting belief. For example, if your body is chronically tense due to an unconscious agreement about needing to be perfect, the constant physical discomfort can feed into feelings of inadequacy or anxiety, thereby strengthening the original belief. The body isn't just holding the memory of the agreement, it's actively perpetuating it, making it feel more real and harder to break free from. This is why mere intellectual understanding isn't enough to release these chains. The body itself needs to be acknowledged and engaged in the process of liberation. The power in recognizing these physiological manifestations lies in their ability to serve as signposts. That recurring back pain, that knot in your stomach before a big presentation, or that persistent fatigue might not just be physical ailments. They could be your body's silent screams, desperately trying to bring an unconscious agreement to your attention. By learning to listen to these bodily whispers and understanding their connection to our limiting beliefs, we unlock a powerful pathway to healing and transformation, allowing us to not just think, but feel our way out of the invisible chains that bind us. It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? If unconscious agreements limit our reality and cause discomfort, why wouldn't we eagerly cast them off? Yet, one of the most perplexing aspects of breaking free is the powerful, often subconscious, resistance to true freedom. Owen Hermstring's insights here are particularly profound, revealing that the familiar, even if it's limiting or painful, can feel safer than the exhilarating yet terrifying unknown of genuine liberation. This topic delves into the paradoxical psychological mechanisms that keep us tethered to our self-imposed chains. At the core of this resistance lies the fear of the unknown. Our unconscious agreements, however restrictive, provide a sense of predictability and control. They define our boundaries, our roles, and our expectations, creating a seemingly stable framework for our existence. Even if that framework is small and confining, it's known. Stepping outside of these agreements means venturing into uncharted territory, where outcomes are uncertain and our usual coping mechanisms might not apply. This uncertainty can trigger deep-seated anxieties within our nervous system, which is hardwired for survival and prefers predictability over novelty, even if that novelty promises something better. The unconscious mind, in its attempt to protect us, often interprets the unknown as inherently dangerous, prompting us to recoil from true expansion. Another significant factor is the loss of identity tied to our limitations. Many of us have unconsciously built our sense of self around these agreements. If an unconscious agreement dictates "I'm the quiet, supportive one," embracing freedom might mean speaking up and risking disrupting cherished relationships or a comfortable self-perception. If our identity is heavily invested in being a struggling artist or a workaholic, then achieving effortless success or finding work-life balance can feel like losing a fundamental part of who we are. The ego, in its protective function, resists this dissolution of self, even if the self it clings to is limiting. The thought of shedding these familiar identities can evoke a deep sense of grief or existential crisis, leading us to unconsciously cling to the very chains we consciously wish to discard. Furthermore, there's the fear of failure and paradoxically, the fear of success. If we break free from an agreement that says, I can only achieve moderate success, and then truly strive for greatness, we open ourselves up to the possibility of falling short, which can be terrifying. On the flip side, the fear of success is equally potent. What if we actually achieve everything we desire? Will we be able to handle it? Will we lose our friends or family who are still operating from old agreements? Will we be truly happy, or will new, unforeseen challenges arise? These subconscious anxieties can lead to self-sabotage, where we unconsciously create obstacles that prevent us from fully realizing our potential, thus reinforcing the perceived safety of our previous limitations. Hermstring would likely highlight that these fears are not rational. They are visceral, emotional responses rooted in our primal need for safety and belonging. This resistance is not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to the powerful hold of our unconscious programming. Recognizing this fear of freedom is a crucial step towards liberation. It allows us to approach self-transformation with compassion and patience, understanding that breaking free isn't just about willpower, but about gently persuading our deepest selves that a new, expanded reality is not only possible, but safe. The journey to breaking free from limiting unconscious agreements begins not with force, but with illumination. As Owen Hermstring implies, you can't dismantle what you can't see. This topic provides the crucial next step: practical strategies and thought-provoking approaches to help you uncover these hidden pacts that have been silently dictating your reality. It's an act of conscious inquiry, shining a flashlight into the shadowed corners of your subconscious to reveal the agreements that have been operating on autopilot. One of the most potent tools for this unearthing process is deep introspection, facilitated by journaling. This isn't just casual diary keeping, it's a dedicated practice of asking pointed questions and allowing your authentic, unfiltered answers to emerge. Begin by observing recurring patterns in your life, especially those that feel like stumbling blocks or perpetual challenges. For example, do you consistently struggle with financial stability, even when you earn a good income? Do you find yourself repeatedly in relationships where you feel unheard or unappreciated? Once you identify a pattern, ask yourself, what belief would I have to hold true for this pattern to make sense? Or what core assumption am I making about myself or the world that leads to this outcome? Write down whatever comes to mind, no matter how illogical or uncomfortable it feels. Often, the uncomfortable answers are precisely where an unconscious agreement lies hidden. Another powerful technique is observing your emotional triggers and automatic reactions. When do you feel a disproportionate surge of anger, fear, sadness, or resistance? What specific situations or comments send you spiraling into old, unhelpful behaviors? These intense emotional responses are often the alarm bells of an unconscious agreement being challenged or affirmed. For instance, if a casual comment about someone else's success fills you with immediate envy or a sense of inadequacy, it might point to an unconscious agreement that there's not enough success to go around, or my worth is tied to outperforming others. By pausing to examine these knee-jerk reactions rather than simply reacting to them, you can trace them back to the underlying beliefs that fuel them. Furthermore, pay close attention to the language you use, both internally and externally. Are there phrases you frequently repeat that diminish your capabilities, predict failure, or reinforce limitations? I'm just not good at that. That's impossible for me. I always mess things up. These linguistic patterns are often direct echoes of your unconscious agreements. Similarly, observe your physical sensations when you consider new opportunities or when you're in challenging situations. As discussed, the body holds these vows. Do you feel tightness, constriction, or a sense of pulling back? These physical cues can be powerful indicators of a subconscious agreement trying to keep you safe within its boundaries. The goal of conscious inquiry isn't to judge yourself for these agreements, but simply to identify them with curiosity and compassion. It's about creating a space where these hidden pacts can reveal themselves, allowing you to recognize them for what they are: learned constructs, not immutable truths. This act of bringing the unconscious into the conscious mind is the essential first step towards reclaiming your agency and beginning the profound work of rewriting your personal script. Once you've courageously unearthed your unconscious agreements, those invisible chains that have shaped your reality, the truly liberating work begins. This final topic focuses on the transformative process of crafting new, empowering agreements that align with the abundant reality you truly desire. Owen Hermstring's framework, in essence, moves us from passive acceptance to active authorship, empowering us to intentionally design a life no longer bound by old, restrictive pacts, but built on conscious choice and limitless possibility. The core of rewriting the script lies in a conscious and deliberate choice. It's about recognizing that the old agreements, while once serving a protective or adaptive function, are no longer necessary or beneficial. The first step is to consciously choose new beliefs. For every limiting agreement you identified, formulate an empowering counter-agreement. For example, if your old unconscious agreement was, "Money is scarce and hard to get," your new agreement might be, "Money flows easily and abundantly to me." If "I'm not good enough" was the old script, the new one becomes, "I am inherently worthy and capable." Write these new agreements down. Make them positive, present tense, and deeply resonate with your desired future. However, simply writing them down isn't enough. The mind, and especially the body, needs reinforcement. This is where practicing new behaviors becomes crucial. Our actions are powerful signals to our unconscious mind. If your new agreement is about self-worth, begin to act in ways that reflect that worth. Set healthier boundaries, prioritize your needs, or invest in your growth. If your new agreement is about financial abundance, take small, consistent actions that align with financial well-being, even if they feel uncomfortable at first. These actions, no matter how minor, create new neural pathways and send a clear message to your entire being that the old script is no longer valid. Hermstring would likely emphasize that consistency is key here. Small, repetitive actions create profound shifts over time. Furthermore, creating supportive environments is vital. This means curating your physical space, your relationships, and your informational diet to reinforce your new agreements. Surround yourself with people who uplift and believe in your potential, rather than those who reinforce your old limitations. Seek out content, books, podcasts, videos that align with your expanded vision. Decluttering your physical space can also be a powerful act of creating an environment that reflects clarity and openness, rather than the constriction of old habits. Your environment should become a constant, gentle reminder of the new reality you are building. The process of rewriting the script isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing journey of awareness and intentionality. There will be moments when the old, familiar agreements try to reassert themselves. This is where compassion and perseverance come into play. Instead of self-judgment, acknowledge the old pattern. Gently remind yourself of your new agreement and recommit to your chosen path. By consistently choosing new beliefs, practicing aligning behaviors, and cultivating supportive environments, you gradually yet profoundly dismantle the invisible chains and step into a reality that is truly a reflection of your consciously chosen, limitless potential. Ready to break free from your hidden limitations and truly step into your power. If Owen Hermstring's insights on unconscious agreements resonated with you, there's so much more to discover. Subscribe to our channel now for weekly deep dives, practical strategies, and empowering wisdom to help you rewrite your reality. Don't let your past dictate your future. Hit the notification bell and join our community dedicated to conscious living and limitless potential.